Hey everybody, I have a treat for you today. I'm going to be showing you a video that was previously only available to my relationship mastery clients and course members, but I've decided to release this to the public so that you can assess where your current relationship is at, figure out where the shortcomings might be, and then start to get a sense as to how to improve it. So we're going to be covering the 12 skills of the extraordinary relationship pyramid. This is one of my favorite frameworks I've developed over working with hundreds of people over the years. I think you'll find it really great, whether you're just trying to take your existing relationship to the next level, or if you feel like your relationship is really going in the wrong direction, or if you feel like for some reason you keep striking out in your love life and you've even started to feel a little bit jaded about whether you can succeed or not. If you are in any of those categories, then this training is going to have a lot of really valuable things for you. So buckle up, settle in, get excited, take some notes, and I know you'll enjoy it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much. All right, everyone, this is what you came here for. We're going to be going into the extraordinary relationship pyramid, which is an overview of the 10 real skills, I should say 12 areas that you've really got to master. And I want this introductory video to just kind of set the stage, plant kind of some flags in your mind that we'll be able to return to later as we dive into each one of the 12 elements in detail. But I want you to be able to have this as a bit of a summary. I also want you to maybe keep this video in particular in mind to return to in future, because I want you to be able to self-score yourself on these 12 layers. It's a really great way to figure out how is the relationship, how can it get better, even if it's going really well, right? So you can always take it to another level, and it comes down to these 12 areas. So, let's say you wanted to master your business or your job or career. If you only had 12 distinct things you knew you had to keep in mind and ensure were improving, it's actually not that much when you think about it. If you wanted to make sure that to raise a child exceptionally well and be a tremendous parent, all you had to really remember were 12 things. That would be really awesome, right? So I really want you to take it in that these are the 12 things. We don't have to make it more complicated than these 12. Some of them are going to have to be mastered. Some of them you're going to feel better at than others. And some need to be prioritized depending on where you're at in the relationship right now, more so than others. But it comes down to these 12, okay? So let's dig into it. So again, think of it like a pyramid. So you're building your relationship like a pyramid. You want it to be strong, tall, large, grand, right? All of those great things. If you're going to build the pyramid well, right, we've got to do foundational layers. We've got to start with the most important layer, and the next layer is supported only insofar as the layer beneath it is strong. So that's why it's oriented in this way. We start from the bottom and we build it all the way up, because some things you might be focusing on towards the top and you haven't dealt with things down here at the bottom, and that's why you're running into challenges. Okay, and then the pyramid is held up by the force of the two sides coming together. Okay, it's not a perfect metaphor. I don't build pyramids, I just help people build relationship ones. Okay, but anyway, just play with me on that. So here's the first one. This, again, like I said, is the absolute foundational layer. Heartfelt understanding for the other person's world. Now, each one of these 10, we're going to dig into in more depth. So I might have to try to restrain myself and just give you kind of the snippet for now. But you have to be able to appreciate your other person's world, know that it's different than yours, honor their differences, either biologically or their belief systems. And it doesn't necessarily mean agree with them. It just means be able to try them on for size, appreciate them, and recognize that you two are distinct human beings with distinct views of the world, distinct views on how to raise your kids. People, you both have grown up in different environments with different triggers, different beliefs, different values. So you have to be able to appreciate what your partner brings to the table, not blame them or put them in a limiting definition, but actually see their differences as something that can enrich you, right? That's kind of the main mentality that you want to have. And I put heartfelt understanding here purposefully. Heartfelt means you're not just going, oh, okay, no, I understand. Yeah, that's how it was with you and your mother and your father, and that's exactly the house that you were grown up in. That's not heartfelt, right? Understanding does not mean, oh, yeah, no, I understand my partner. I understand they're a complete bitch. That's not what understanding is, okay? Heartfelt understanding means you're appreciating it. Oh my gosh, that's how you feel? That's how you believe that? Wow, I could see why you'd feel that way if that's what you believed. It's coming from a place of empathy. That's what has to happen. Because otherwise communication breaks down, there's no chance for intimacy, the likelihood of commitment goes out the window. If you do not have this, you have nothing else above it. You must develop a heartfelt appreciation for your other partner. That means dropping the stories and so forth. Okay, that's enough for now. Next, once you do that, once you get in the habit of really sincerely developing heartfelt understanding, and by the way, for some relationships, there's one big area where you've not been giving heartfelt understanding. For some relationships, it's a giant pattern that shows up in many different areas and has become dominating. So, for you, it may just be more of a surgical place where you need to be heartfelt about a particular thing. Anyway, I hope that helps. Now, once you do this, okay, you start to generate in the relationship warmth, not just like, oh, yeah, I love you, but warmth. Honey, I love you. Yeah, of course I love you, right? Real warmth, appreciation can flow back and forth mutually, trust can start to be built, and then also respect between partners, okay? If there is no heartfelt understanding, you do not have warmth, you do not have demonstrations of appreciation. You do not have communications that build trust. You do not have mutual respect. That's why heartfelt understanding comes first. These elements are the next important things to focus on enriching the relationship with. If you love your partner but you're not being warm to your partner, then this is the thing that needs to be worked on next. If you're not demonstrating appreciation for your partner, this is what has to be demonstrated next. If you're not ensuring that your partner feels trusted, that's what you need to focus on next. If you've done anything that communicates disrespect to your partner, that's what needs to get worked on next. Now you can see how number one and number two are real close. Okay. But number two is just a little bit more forward thinking. Number one is, wow, let me actually try on my partner's worldview for a minute. Ooh, okay, I could see where they'd be coming from. Didn't think about it like that, right? So, number one is kind of the acknowledgement. Number two is the forward facing, I now need to be warm to my partner, appreciative, right? I need to lean towards them, is kind of the idea with that, and be warm towards them, okay? That's number two. What that leads to is the opportunity for you to now start to focus on meeting your partner's needs in an innovative way. This is the next layer. There are relationships that are on the brink of collapse. They have zero heartfelt understanding. They've stopped meeting each other's needs for a long period of time. So we have to start building layer by layer. You have to come to that partner and say, first of all, honey, I miss you. And I'm sorry because I've been a jerk and I've been blaming and I need to take some responsibility. And I think we both need to level things up here. And I can appreciate that you've probably felt attacked by me and you've probably felt like this and you've probably felt like that. And I honestly don't really want to focus on all that. I just want us to move on. I want us to create something awesome together now. Right. So once a partner now enters into that mode of number one and number two, that reopens the opportunity for you to start meeting each other's needs again. Okay, now, for instance, some of you are in a relationship where you've already got number one and number two. Number three is where the breakdown is occurring. Okay, so now you've got to be meeting each other's six needs. And by the way, the big flaw that people have is they want to give what they think they should give, or they want to give what they would like to receive. And they forget your partner does not get their needs met in the same way that you do. Okay, so you've got to really understand that. And we talked about that in depth with the six needs, so I'm not going to go into all that right now. Once you are actually focusing on meeting each other's needs, right? You're filling your partner up, right? Then reciprocity starts to get induced. But some relationships don't go further than that. They get stuck at the level two level of, I'll meet your needs if you meet my needs. And then passion flows out the window. And the reason for that tends to be depolarization, as we've talked about. So, what you have to be able to do is honor your polarity. Don't make it wrong to be masculine or feminine, right? Don't disown that part of yourself just because that's what you got reinforced for doing as you were raised. but honor it. Embrace the feminine or the masculine. Embrace one of those rituals that you need to. Bring it alive. Bring that energy to your partner and live in your essence. Okay. Once you do that, that creates the opportunity for you to now make bids for connection. Okay. Relationships that start to go down the wrong path are ones where the partners have stopped making bids for connection with each other. Okay. And very often you can see how this starts to deteriorate. As soon as you stop making bids for connection for each other, people depolarize. Once you depolarize, then you stop meeting each other's needs and you start coming up with shitty meanings. The warmth disappears. And then now you get to a spot where you don't even have any heartfelt understanding for your partner. You just blame them. So you can see how this crumbles from top to bottom or how it gets built up from bottom to top. Okay. But you have to turn towards your partner and actually make bids. You have to get past the idea of I want them to go first and instead be the leader. Okay, that's what you got to do. Okay, and once that occurs, right? So you're honoring your polarity, you're making bids for connection, you're being heartfelt, you're being warm. Now, what's going to need to occur is you being able to harness courage to have the challenging conversations where you previously would have walked on eggshells. It also means embracing those conversations with a sense of being able to be influenced by your partner. This means you put building this pyramid and building the partnership above being right, okay, over certain things that might be contentious between the two of you. So harness courage, tell your partner, hey, I want to raise the standard here. This is something I'm not, entirely pleased with. I love you, of course. I want it to improve. Here's how I'd like to see it improve, right? That type of thing. Or if you guys are sharing major responsibilities together, a business, children, whatever the case is, you got to be able to go, honey, this is the thing that we need to deal with, but you've got to couch it in heartfelt understanding, warmth, trying to meet your partner's needs, and living in your polarity. That's what is the thing. A lot of people try to do number 6, but they're not doing it with heartfelt understanding, warmth, and so forth. And therefore, it comes out as kind of a level 1 communication where it's like, hey, listen, this is what needs to happen. And you're speaking more in terms of this is what needs to happen for my needs to be met, as opposed to I want to make sure that your needs are met. And here's what needs to happen to do that. Okay. As you do this, the major thing that starts to get built is you attribute positive intent to your partner always. You know that when they say something mean, it wasn't really that they meant it. They were just in a crappy state, right? Something like that. You see underneath what is going on. You see their communications as either a loving response or a cry for help, and you go and you pierce through that veil and you get down to what's true, right? And you've got to always abide by that principle of attributing positive intent. So that becomes a little easier and more natural once you've gotten the ones underneath it, okay? But it's never too early to start that. Okay, now the next big piece that has to be done is you've got to learn the major skills for managing conflict. Okay, and there are 6 kind of major skills with that will get unpacked as you go. You've already been exposed to those as well as many others in the communication module. If you haven't gone through that yet, then that's where you need to go. But managing conflict well, making sure you're taking responsibility for how you communicate, avoiding the 4 horsemen, moving past regrettable incidents, managing your state, right? All of those main principles are really, really key for that layer. 9 is supporting and honoring each other's goals and dreams. So now you've got a pretty solid relationship by the time you've got to 8, right? You are attributing positive intent, you're managing conflict well, you're having difficult conversations, you're making bids for connection, you both play in your different energies, you're meeting each other's needs generally, right? It's warm, it's nice, it's great. You want it to be, a situation that goes into the legendary phase, and also where you feel total commitment and certainty long term. You have to uncover what each other's goals and dreams are, and then align those together in a shared vision and support and honor them, right? Help each other make those a reality. Encourage each other as you go, as you're getting closer, right? This is what relationship masters do. They really take it upon themselves to figure out what are my partner's greatest goals, dreams, fears, desires, and how can I help them make those a reality, okay? Relationships that I see that are on the brink When I ask a partner who's telling me that, you know, their partner is the problem and all those things, I'll ask them, what are your partner's real goals? And very often they'll look at me blank stared and they'll go, I have no idea what their goals are. I'll go, okay, well, maybe now is a good time to figure that out. Maybe now is a good time to realize the reason why you guys are arguing and bickering and fighting is she or he does not feel understood in this in at all, because they do have goals, dreams, and desires that are being clearly unmet. You don't even know what they are, and you're more committed to your story of blame than you are to helping your partner live a life that they feel fulfilled by. Okay. So that's what you've got to be able to do. And then what this creates, number 10, is shared vision and meaning, where you can start to build a legacy together. You can talk about what example you want to set for others. You can talk about any, you know, long-term goals you want to leave after you, even after you die, some things that you would want to ensure are accomplished through your legacy, if at all, perhaps. Okay. So 10 is shared vision and meaning. This would also mean, like, if you're raising kids together, how you want to support those kids through the rest of your life, how you do want to make sure that you're able to sell or grow that business you built together, right? Creating a shared vision of the future and a deep meaning about what's most important to you. This is where your values actually become intertwined more so, right? It's a really beautiful thing. Now, holding this pyramid up are two major things. Number one is commitment. If you have been threatening to end the relationship, or you have been signaling or telling your partner you don't want to be in the relationship, but then you do, and then you don't, and then you do, or you've been giving ultimatums, it's time to drop that shit now, because you can never have this work if you are threatening the commitment to the relationship. It's time for you to get clear on whether your natures are aligned or not, and make sure that you're getting guidance with me on that, so that you don't make a mistake and don't let the fear part of your brain make the decision for you, right? But once you know, wait, we had an extraordinary relationship before, we just haven't for a long time. It's time to level up, take full responsibility, and commit. And that start, what I want you to write this down: commit first, figure the rest out later. Commit first, figure the rest out later. Because so long as one or both partners has their finger on the button, then there is no trust, there is no commitment, and this entire pyramid collapses. It's like taking one wall of it completely out. It all is going to empty right out the side. So if there's been a threat that's been communicated, you need to drop that threat. You need to go to your partner and you need to say, listen, I'm sorry I did that. That was totally unfair. I'm absolutely committed to this. Of course, we've got some problems we got to work through, but I'm here till the end. Okay. That alone boosts a relationship tremendously as soon as you take the threat of leaving off the table. So that has to be done. If you're still in that wishy-washy mode of, oh, yeah, but what about if they don't do this and they don't do that? You have to learn these real skills. You got to commit to showing up in an extraordinary state and commit to the 90-day challenge of giving without measuring what you're getting back for 90 days. And you got to really honor that. And you got to catch yourself when your mind's going, oh, well, I've been giving for a week and I haven't gotten anything. Bullshit. You got to take on this real challenge. That's why you came to this program, is to not settle. Don't do what 99.9% of the population does, which is ascribe to a limiting story and go on the fence of commitment and wait for your partner to go first. That's fucking horseshit. It will not get you the relationship that you want. You have to be the leader that comes in and says, listen, we're not going to threaten to leave this relationship anymore. We're not going to do it. And actually, even if you, honey, get upset and you talk about leaving the relationship, that's okay, because I know you don't mean it. I'm telling you, we're sticking this thing out. We're going to figure this out. It's done. It's decided. Let's begin. Right? You come with that type of intention and you don't get rattled when your partner starts to scream or squirm. Then you now are the leader of the relationship. You can make this exactly what you want. And if you're going to play the small card, if you're going to play small, recognize it's never going to make you fulfilled, and you're going to repeat the same exact mistakes with somebody else. So the only solution is you fucking commit. You decide that this person is someone you're aligned with, and you decide, all right, I'm going to figure the rest out later. I'm scared. I don't know how. I don't know these other 10 skills. I don't have them mastered yet, but I do know this is the person that could be someone I can create an extraordinary relationship with. Okay, don't do what 99% of the population does, where they blame it on the other partner and they view it as, oh, I wasn't with the right person and it was the other person's fault. No, it's your fault because you didn't master the skills. Okay, rant over. And then the second wall is a level 3 intent. Okay, level 3 meaning your needs are my needs. I'm putting your needs first. And again, get yourself out of the scarcity mindset of, oh God, but I have been putting their needs first. If you're saying that sentence, that is untrue, because that very sentence is you focusing on you and what you're not getting. Okay. You have to give without the expectation of giving. And when you do that unconditionally, it induces massive reciprocity, right? Over time. Okay. But it has to be consistent. Otherwise, it feels like a manipulation. So you've got to do this. And this is the only way to master a relationship. Whether you do the 90-day challenge and embody what's on the screen right now, and your partner doesn't induce reciprocity by the end of that 90 days, and you do now know definitively that you were the 1 in 20 relationships that was not meant to last, then you at least need to master these skills so that when you do sort and find an aligned lover through what I've taught you, you're able to actually make sure that it works. Without level 3 intent, your relationship will always be less than it could be long term. So it has to get mastered. Okay. So I hope this has been helpful. We were kind of just setting the stage. We get a lot more to talk about with these 10 major skills, 12 major elements. So I'm excited to dig into those further with you. I want you to engage in a little bit of recall. Okay, so let me throw these back on the screen for you real quick. Oh, sorry, hold on. There we go. I want you to review these and I want you to go ahead and do a self score for yourself. That's what I want you to do. Take the relationship that you have, or take a relationship that ended just for the learning process of it. And I want you to score these 12 elements 0 out of 10 and do it based off of you. How much were you generating heartfelt understanding for your partner's world? 0 to 10. How much warmth, appreciation, trust, and respect were you really making them feel? 0 to 10. How much were you anticipating their needs and innovatively meeting them? How much were you staying in your polarity consistently so you would get a different energy response from them? How often were you making the appropriate bids for connection and turning towards your partner as opposed to turning away from them and putting walls up? How much were you harnessing real courage and having the difficult conversations and letting your partner influence you on those difficult conversations versus, again, putting walls up that keep you from communicating or letting someone in? How much were you attributing positive intent as opposed to blaming your partner? How much were you really managing conflict really well through the skills I've taught you, right? How much were you really honoring and supporting their dreams? How much did you even know about their dreams? And then how much were you creating a compelling vision of the future that you both could share in that would have joint meaning, that would be purposeful? Commitment side, how committed were you and how committed did you make them feel that you were, more importantly? And then number 12, the level 3 intent. How much were you really putting your partner's needs first? Truly, 0 to 10. Regardless of where your relationship is, whether you're single, you're in one right now, or what have you, I want you to do a self score, because the self score will teach you how good of a lover you really are. Okay, because if you get an 80%, great. Now you know where the gap is to make it 100. If you're at a 25%, great. You know why you're having relationship problems and you know what things need to be focused on. And I've literally given you the order of them, okay, of what has to be focused on. So there's no more excuses. It's time to buckle down, time to master this, time to really learn it. So do that self score, tell me what you learn, and then let's get to work.